Okay, so for our warm-up, we're going to begin on our side on the floor. So what I want you to do is we're going to create like a bit of a pillow. So we're going to fold our arm back. You're going to actually rest your head sort of on the wrist area. And I want you to prop your head up. Okay, so we're going to keep the head in line with the trunk, aligned with the rest of the spine. And we're going to have our knees bent out in front, so our shoulder, hip, feet are in a straight line. And then we're just going to start off with lifting our top knee towards our chest, point that knee to the ceiling, drop it down and back behind us, and circle it around like so. Okay, so some nice big circles to warm the hips up. And then we'll change direction. Okay, so same movement. Really try and point the knee straight up towards the ceiling every time. Try and get as big a range of motion as you have through that area. And then we're going to straighten the leg out. Okay, so legs straight up in the air, as straight as you can get it. We're going to take the leg forwards, so it does take a bit of strength here. Then we're going to circle it back behind us as far as we can go without arching our back. Point it up towards the ceiling and circle that around. Okay, so same sort of motion, but this time we're going to be doing it with a long lever, so our legs stretched out, which is a fair bit harder, especially on that forward lower. And then we'll go the opposite direction. Circling around. You may be feeling some lactic acid burning in the side of your hips by now, which is a sign that we're working the right muscle groups. We're working on mobility, but strength as well with this one. It's a really good movement flow. And then we'll just stack our legs on top of each other. So from here, we'll just give the hips just a little bit of a rest, just to let the blood, the lactic acid flush out of them. And then I want you to lift both feet off the floor. Okay, we're going to keep our feet in this position. And then we're going to open just the top knee away from the bottom knee. Okay, so we're just going to open and close like so. Every time we open, I want you to squeeze your bum. Okay, and then close together, squeeze your bum at the top, close together. So again, we're trying to really focus on engaging these side glute hip muscles as we do this movement. Okay, and then we're going to turn over to the opposite side and do the same thing. All right, so again, line ourselves up so we have our bottom arm folded back, a little bit of a pillow, shelf for our head to rest on, knees bent out in front, top shoulder, hip, feet in a straight line. And then we'll begin bringing the knee to the chest, point the knee up to the ceiling, circle it around. Alright, and then we'll change directions. Okay, so same thing, opposite direction. So we'll keep it bending the knee the whole time with this one. Alright, and then we're going to straighten that leg out. So we'll take it forwards, down, back, point it up to the ceiling, and back around that same movement path. So do it nice, especially when you lower it in front of you, do it nice and slowly, okay, so that we really work into that side hip, we develop some control through the muscles at different angles. Okay, and then we'll change directions, so starting up, we go down, forwards, up to the ceiling. Down, So you should feel some lactic acid burning by now. Quite a challenging movement, this one. Okay, and then we're going to stack our knees on top of each other. We'll just give a little bit of a rest to let the lactic acid flow out of the muscles. And then make sure you get nice and upright through the upper body. Feet up, okay, and then we're going to do our clams. Opening that top knee. Every time you get to the top, I like to give it a little bit of a pause. Make sure I'm squeezing that side butt glute area so that we get a good contraction through there. One more rep. Okay, and then we'll just finish up. We'll go to a seated position and we'll just get the hips windscreen wide, bring left and right, getting some movement into, so we're rotating the head of the femur, so the upper thigh bone. The head of that bone's really rotating inside the socket of the hip. So it's a nice one to get some stretch and blood flow into that joint to keep it nice and healthy. All right, and then we'll move into our strength movements from now. Okay, so for this exercise, what we're going to need is like a little tea towel, hand towel, something that you can slide along the floor. And we need to be on a surface that you can slide that. So you're not going to get too much friction, so like tiles or concrete or something like that. So what we want to do, we're going to be in a single leg squat with this exercise. Now, it's extremely important that the center of my kneecap, so if I drew a vertical line on the kneecap, that needs to line up vertically with my second and third toe. Okay, so I want to have my toes pointing straight ahead, that knee lined up. We don't want to be in a situation where the center of my kneecap's pointing out here, my toes are out here. Okay, we need to line them up together. We're going to sit into that quarter squat, so I'm heavy through the heel of this foot. And a bit of a bend in the hips, bit of a bend in the knees. My spine's nice and straight. And then I'm going to slide my foot forwards, around in a semicircle, and then back around. So it's sort of like a circle cut in half. So there's a lot of balance in this one and a lot of stability that's going to be working in particular through the hip and through the ankle. So we want to maintain that alignment, that center kneecap, second and third toe, as we're doing this movement through here, stabilizing, balancing. Do all your reps on one leg, then switch and do the reps on the other leg. Okay, so for this exercise, what we're going to do, this is going to be a single leg squat, but with a kickstand at the back. Okay, so the back foot, you'll notice I'm right up on the tiptoes. My foot is flat against the wall. This leg is the leg that we're working. 90% of our weight is going to be into this leg, and in particular into the heel of this foot. Only 10% of our weight is going to go in this leg. So you need to make sure when you are squatting down with this exercise that you don't push off on this leg. We really make sure consciously that we're doing all the work on this leg and not the opposite. Now, the movement is as I'm doing like so. We need to make sure that the center of the kneecap lines over the second and third toe the whole time. We don't want a situation where the knee's pointing inwards. Okay, so we're just going up and down like so, bum to the wall, and then come back up, sinking our weight into the heel of this foot. Remember, 90% of our weight is all in this leg, only 10% in the back leg. I'm sitting and touching my bum to the wall, okay, at the bottom, not my back. My back's not flat against the wall, it's just my bum And I'm focusing on keeping my pelvis level, okay? I'm not rotating my pelvis, I'm keeping it all square and stacked up on this side. Nice and slowly through the range. Be careful that the knee doesn't project out past the toes vertically, okay? So we want to, that's why we're sitting our way into the heel and we're using the wall to stick our bum into, okay? That will help prevent us pushing the knee too far forwards. We need to make sure that our spine is in good alignment as we do this. Okay, so long spine from my tailbone to my head, straight, just its natural curves. And just remember when we're doing it, 90% of our weight all on this one leg, only 10% on the back leg. And we're making sure that we do it slowly and controlled and keep that alignment the whole time through.